Obesity is related to now 13 different cancers, and these range from endometrial cancer to kidney cancer, pancreatic cancer, liver cancer. Really, there are a large number of cancers that the risk goes up when you are obese. For our research, what we were particularly interested in was looking at all of these cancers in a sample of postmenopausal women, but importantly, a large component of our cancers were postmenopausal breast cancer, which has for a long time been associated with obesity. So our research was really looking at a dietary exposure called dietary energy density. And this exposure, this variable, was created about a decade ago to start looking at diet quality in a more comprehensive way. So rather than look at an individual nutrient, we wanted to get a flavor for the overall diet quality. And one measure of diet quality is looking at the calories people are consuming or the energy they're consuming in relation to the nutrients. And in order to do that, a really good indicator of that energy density is the energy in a food based on its weight. So think about holding in your hand, on one hand, a Big Mac and fries, and in the other, a very large salad with greens and radishes and carrots and cucumbers. And you could just visualize and think about how this one is going to be much heavier weight-wise. In addition, it's much heavier in terms of its caloric content. And so that is a high energy density food. This salad is a low energy density food. And we want to drive people to eat diets that are lower in this dietary energy density. When we think about what those foods are, high energy density, as I mentioned, burgers, fries, pizza, desserts and sweets, sugar sweetened beverages, lots of calories and per gram of weight. Over here, we of course have fruits and vegetables and salads and legumes and all those things that are kind of more lower weight but give us a lot of nutrients without a lot of calories. The filler foods, as I call them. So this study was in over 90,000 postmenopausal women participating in the Women's Health Initiative. And what we were interested in looking at is the dietary energy density and their risk of obesity-related cancer. And the most interesting finding of all was the fact that not only did we see a relationship, about a 10% increase in the risk of obesity-related cancers, but we also noticed that this relationship was driven by normal weight women. So what's interesting is that while dietary energy density is related to obesity and it's related to adult weight gain, in this group of women, if you were normal weight and you were selecting these foods to eat that were high in dietary energy density, you were increasing your obesity-related cancer risk by 10%, even though you were not obese. So the Women's Health Initiative provides what we call a food frequency questionnaire. And the food frequency questionnaire is what we use to collect data on what women were eating. That food frequency questionnaire gives us an opportunity to figure out the estimated energy intake women are consuming, as well as kind of the nutrient quality, and we know the weight of all those foods as well from the USDA database. So it's self-reported, they're telling us what they eat. In terms of cancer outcomes, those were adjudicated. So we got that information from their medical records and had a group of physicians review to confirm that they had a cancer diagnosis. So this relationship between DED and cancer is relatively unexplored. There have been a dozen or so studies, but certainly we need to do more. And one of the things we could certainly do would be to pool different data sets. You know, the Women's Health Initiative provided us over 90,000 women to look at, but there are other large studies that could be pooled with that study to provide us larger samples to get a better estimate of what's going on here. In addition, I think, you know, this is a study of postmenopausal women, and it's going to be important to look at this in younger people as well as males and really see if this relationship holds true across different populations. First and foremost, to pick foods that are lower in dietary energy density and higher in overall quality in terms of cancer prevention. So again, as I mentioned, fruits and vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and don't forget physical activity as well. It's an important message to take forward. If you are overweight, obviously it's important to look at that as a risk factor that you could improve upon by losing some weight.